Good evening and welcome to the January 15, 2026 meeting of the Planning Commission of the City of Calabasas. Happy New Year, everyone. I know we're right on the cusp of where you can't say that anymore, but close enough. Okay, so the meeting is called to order. Commissioner Hazina, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please rise, right hand over heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Announcements and introductions.
Happy New Year to all.
Dennis?
I just want to reiterate for anybody who may not have heard me last meeting, and that is that the folks at Treeland have wound up their business, sold the property, and as of October 31st, the property now belongs to a Dignity Memorial, and it will be a cemetery. But it gives us an opportunity here in Calabasas, because all the water from the watershed that we're sitting in right now, the Arroyo Calabasas watershed, from my house near Calabasas High School all the way up to, the Kardashian and Barker households at the top of the Oaks, all that water goes under the freeway to the backside of the home that the Treeland people have lived in for 72 years. And that water is part of the Arroyo Calabasas watershed, which eventually goes to Canoga Park High School, where it joins Bell Canyon Creek and goes to Long Beach down the LA River. LA County and LA City think that it magically springs from the ground at Canoga Park High School, but we all know better. So there's an opportunity for us, because the LA River has a whole bunch of commitment from LA County, LA City, and a whole bunch of folks and agencies and so forth. And if we ultimately think about it and how we actually improve our watershed here on the basis of all the changes that are going to go on the other side of the freeway all the way down to Long Beach, it might be valuable for us to be recognized for the headwaters that we are, because we should be getting some of our tax money and our bond money and our fee money back to do the right thing for our ecology in Calabasas. So that's my announcement, and I'm hoping we can agendize that and talk about it in the near future.
All right, thank you. And we'll talk to the powers that be that can make that happen. Okay, thank you. Matt?
Well, just following up on what Dennis said, I think it is important to monitor that and be involved. Also, because if there are going to be acres of grass, I think that's an issue that we should be involved with.
Well, it's going to be, a cemetery, and
No, I know that, but that uses a lot of water. So we'd have to.
well, there's a lot of water that goes through the property. I guess that's part of my point. So that's another issue we can talk about in
Yes,
the future.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. We are at public comment, which is the portion of the program for those wishing to address the commission on matters that are not on the agenda. I see that we have people in the audience for item number 3, I would suspect. I don't see anyone else. Michael, anybody?
We don't have any speaker cards.
Okay, so moving on to the consent calendar. We have one item on the consent calendar, and that is approval of the minutes of the meeting of November 20th of 2025. Do we have any changes or a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the meeting minutes are approved. Okay, new business. We are on to reorganization of the Planning Commission, and that means that positions will be changed. And I'm hopefully going to be helping to make this a simple matter, because I'm going to nominate our current vice chair, Commissioner Hazena, as the new chair, as is often the case. And I think that Commissioner Hazena would be a big asset as the chair. He's shown himself to be highly interested and intelligent and tuned in and delves into what's involved with everything. Anyway, so I move Commissioner Hazena
I'll second
be
that.
appointed. Okay. Typically, we would do a roll call. Are we likely to have anything other than unanimous approval here? Nope, I'm not hearing anything, so I think
No,
we can
it's great.
dispense with, yeah, okay. I think we can dispense with the roll call. We have the motion, we have a second. All in favor of Commissioner Hazena as our new chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, congratulations, Mr. Chair.
Don't be too heavy-handed with that gavel.
Should we, before we change seats, if you want to change seats tonight, which we can, our names will be wrong, but it's going to be a short meeting. I would also like to move Commissioner Washburn as the new vice chair, mixing a little bit of the more recent and newer with highly experienced and bringing a lot of knowledge to the table. So I move Commissioner Washburn as the vice chair.
It would be my honor to second that.
Okay. Do we have any discussion?
Works for me. We'll work hard, the bunch of us, I'm sure.
Any discussion? If there's no discussion, then we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of Commissioner Washburn as the vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair.
Matt, just be sure to be here for every meeting.
And would you like to switch chairs tonight?
If you would be so kind as to just pass me the gavel, I think that would suffice.
I have never picked this gavel up. I have never used it, but it is now yours. Feel the power.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for your guidance, for your trust. I am truly touched. This is a point of pride, being able to serve the city I grew up in. So to be honored with this responsibility, it means a lot, and I won't disappoint, and I'll be sure to keep my attendance nearly spotless. I think I've done pretty well so far. So with that, please be patient. I think I've only run maybe one meeting, and your continued support and of course insight means the world to me, because again, I can't do this without you.
Remember, you're the biggest guy here, so you won't have any choice.
And the meeting, don't turn off your microphone. The meeting is yours. You're on to item number 3 under new business.
Item number 3, appointment of architectural review panel members. We have our 3 incoming panel members here. They have proudly served us since I've been on the commission. I don't think we have any more potential appointees or nominees.
That is correct, and I'll just kind of go through really quickly. Yes, you are correct. We have three applicants here tonight. The ARP is made up of 5 total members, 2 of which are considered alternate members. The ARP member, or each ARP member, serves a term of 2 years, and all 5 terms kind of go at the same time. So those all expired in October of 2025, at which point the city clerk put out a recruitment for applications for ARP, along with several other different commissions. So it was just a general citywide recruitment for commissions and ARP. That ran from November 19th to December 12th. We received the 3 applications that we have here tonight, which are all incumbent ARP members. We still do have 2, because the recruitment's closed, we still have 2 spots available. That would be an alternate position, and we do plan on starting another recruitment next week. And then just really briefly, I just want to talk about what the duties of the ARP are. The ARP reviews site plan reviews and other development applications, and they make a recommendation to the Planning Commission and to the City Council on pertaining to site plans. They evaluate architectural, landscape, design, site elements, things like that. And again, they're an advisory board, so they don't make a actual decision, but they do bring a recommendation forward to the Planning Commission. And I will tell you, just from my experience working with ARP, it's a great group to work with, and they consistently elevate projects that come through the city. To the point where I've even had homeowners call me afterwards on projects that said, thank you for having this process laid out, because the ARP made our home a better home than what their architect was originally proposing. So I think it's a great process. It again, helps improve and make the quality of projects throughout the city much better. And we try to show the commission sort of the evolution of projects as they go through ARP, and when we do show you that, I hope the commission appreciates the work and the effort that the ARP does. So with that, yes, our recommendation, staff's recommendation, is that the commission appoint the 3 applications who are here tonight. And if you have questions or if they want to speak, of course, I think the commission should give them that opportunity. And moving forward, I also recommend that the commission choose 2 members of the Planning Commission as an ad hoc committee to review any new applications that come in for the remaining 2 spots. And then based on a recommendation from those 2 committee members, that would then be forward to the Planning Commission for approval.
Alrighty, well, with that, do any of our current ARP applicants wish to speak? Yeah, please.
I was going to say, Mr. Chair, I think it'd be helpful if because this is being recorded and will be repeated on our CTV, for anybody who's actually interested in finding out how we work and how we work with these fine folks, I think it'd be valuable to have each of them introduce themselves. And we heard Michael describe the functions of the ARP, but from the perspective of the architects and advisors that we have on the ARP, it'd be great to have that common language experience from the architects to help us understand just how important it is to deal with this process of review here.
Sure, if you would all be so kind. Thank you.
Great, yeah. Okay, so Will Shepard, I know you all. Thank you for reappointing us, if that's actually happened. I wanted to thank you for the last time we met. It might have even been 2 years ago. We talked about the city's need for objective design standards for these multifamily projects, which are state mandated beyond the kind of criteria that your city is approving things relative to our group, our ARP group of reviewing projects. There's a time limitation there. So Michael's staff has done a great job, and you all know about this, and we were at some of the meetings I was at, not all. But I wanted to thank you for that effort, because I think it's important in order to establish those kinds of criteria moving forward. because I can see in the coming years that there will be more multifamily density projects landing in Calabasas. So the topic that I would like to bring up as a request is, and I think maybe Michael and I spoke about this at one point, I might have mentioned it to you as well, is the backside of Trader Joe's and the backside of that commercial zone and those office buildings as you're traveling on the 101, right? That's an edge to our city. And that edge to our city is not the best looking edge. In fact, it's pretty bad. You know, the wall doesn't get painted, there's not a lot of interest. And if you think of the cities that you pass through when you're on these California highways, that makes a difference. And I'm not advocating for tons of signage or tons of, you know, stop in here. But I think that there's something that like the objective design standards that has been, you know, occurring, that could happen on that edge, in the sense of, and maybe Michael, you can fill us in on this, but I'm not sure that the objective design standards have addressed that the 101 edge, and I think it's an important edge. So let me even fast forward a little further. I know the city's in a kind of a financial difficulty time, so the idea of annexing the Craftsman Corner land, I don't know if that's been put on ice or put on hold, but to me, that's your last opportunity to really control your environs from a aesthetic planning perspective. And I think there's great opportunity in that regard to link both sides, even with a pedestrian bridge or something that captures that land. So having objective design standards on this edge, on our city side edge, could also be something which on that side edge, if it was ever to come to pass, could be something that could be very beneficial. Linear parks, something that, you know, does more than what it's doing now, which is just freeway walls. So I just bring it up as a topic because I think that's maybe something in my purview to you that you'd like me to speak to. Very interested in all of your comments, and if there's any new information that you can impart. I just see that condition as being kind of one of the last corners to paint out for Calabasas. So that's, again, thank you for the appointment, and I'll sit down and we can talk. You can.
Mr. Chair, if I might?
Yes, please. I think we have a couple questions or comments.
Okay. First of all, I think that those are, you've made excellent points, and I think that these are things to investigate moving forward. We have to be very careful here because they're not agendized. So actually having an extensive discourse about it tonight is not likely,
Yeah.
but definitely something to, if my fellow commissioners are interested, definitely something to explore moving forward. And we haven't taken the vote yet, by the way.
Oh, well, excuse me.
But that's my
If I
only
could just
comment.
quickly add, the Board of Supervisors is going to take this up at the next meeting. That is Craftsman's Corners, the annexation. That's what I was told, and I heard that also from our supervisor of the 3rd District at the Valley Economic Alliance on Tuesday. So it's moving forward, I think, at a good pace finally. So we're in good shape there, and thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, I was going to add that to my director's report. So you'll have to wait till the end, and I'll tell you the date.
Shada, Alan, anybody want to step to the podium
Well, they
briefly?
should, my point was we should hear from both of them so they get on camera and the people of Calabasas can see who's, volunteered to serve us and has done so
If
well.
all of them could come up, because
Hello.
I also have some questions and comments for all of them. So, okay.
Hello, this is Shada Moradi. I'm very thankful and grateful that I'm working with you guys. at the architecture review panel. It's a little bit off topic. I don't know. It's like I want to talk about a little bit what's going on in Iran. That I'm very grateful that I'm here, and United States gave me an opportunity to live free. And but I want to let you know that the people in Iran are getting killed by the government that is a terrorist, and they kidnap all the people of Iran, and it's more than 100 hours of blackout of internet, so there is no connection. But so many things, I think it will come out that they killed more than 12,000 people, and it's just, I want to be their voice, and thank you.
Hi, good evening, Alan DeBach. Just want to say thank you for the opportunity again to serve on the ARP. I enjoyed it the last 2 years and look forward to serving again if I'm appointed.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Shada, for saying that. We have a lot of Persian neighbors, and I know your hearts are very heavy. And I stand with the people of Iran and with my neighbors who are frankly worried. I have a lot of personal friends, and we're talking about this a lot. This is the main topic of conversation with them. So thank you for speaking up. Vice Chair Washburn, did you want to have all three of them come up with?
Well, they all three have, and I'm just saying at this point, now that we know who they are, I would wait for my colleagues to make any comments. I've done mine. Thanks.
I wanted to have them all up and ask them some questions.
Sure, please.
If that's
Commissioner
okay.
Harrison. Commissioner Harrison, please. If all three of you would come up one more time for us, it would mean a lot. Thank you.
Yes, all at once, because I'm seeking your input. I mean, I appreciate all the work you do, but I don't know how to get your input except when we had the joint meeting for the objective standards. The reports just give a conclusion oftentimes, and you're not here, and yet you could help us in projects. I mean, I was, for example, on the Commons project or on the Kia dealership. So on the Kia dealership, for example, we had, you had improved that architecture quite a bit, because what they did is just make a photocopy of their dealership in Valencia or whatever and just stuck it there, and it didn't look, and this is a scenic corridor, right? But they also didn't do anything about this corner that sticks out and for the people coming from the west. And I'm not an architect, but I know, I see what Audi did. They changed that corner, so there's like a tower and some elevations in that corner, so it's not so harsh and offensive, because really it's offensive what the Kia dealership has on that western corner, because it juts out for no reason. Not to mention it doesn't have the name Kia or whatever, that's another issue. But it would be, no one was here, and I'm the only one looking at this, talking about this, and I don't know how to get your input. And the same thing with the Commons. I was surprised when we had our joint meeting on objective design standards to hear what you all thought of that 8-story, cruise ship that's going up where the movie theaters are. Because there was no comment about that here. Nobody said anything. I'm the only one looking at this saying this is inappropriate, not just the size, but the glass panels of the balconies. At least I got them to change that, or at least they changed that. And the parking was wrong, where they didn't have a guard. They didn't have a secure, they didn't have secure parking underground, which I thought, that's crazy. People are gonna go in there and get robbed. But it would have been useful to have you or a representative here to hear your thoughts or suggestions or comments, because we don't get anything on paper, really. It's like, it's so little. It's like a brief summary or a conclusion, and yet, so we miss your expertise when we get the project.
So Michael, are you requesting that we attend the planning commissions for the more major projects where you'd like to have commentary per our review, or because I thought we had, yeah, we had notes that had been developed and given to staff to fold into the staff report.
We don't get them. We just get the briefest of summaries, conclusions. But maybe we can distinguish between scenic corridor projects like the Kia dealership and the Commons, which are both in the scenic corridor. Maybe we should have a representative where all of you come, because you all have expertise and we don't. But I'm looking at going, this is, this isn't right, and I don't have the solutions that you may suggest. So maybe when it's a scenic corridor, maybe it would be good to have somebody or all of you here. I don't know.
Well, I do want to chime in a little bit. We do make a concerted effort to provide the minutes, and the minutes are vetted by the ARP at their next meeting to make sure that they are reflective of the comments and the requests that were made. Staff tries to document within the staff report what those comments are that are reflected in the minutes over whatever the course of that project history is. On the one hand, there may be 15 comments that are made by each individual panel member, but then the panel has to vote as a whole. So just because one person makes a comment doesn't mean that that comment carries forward. Now, that maybe the architect might take it into consideration, but really staff tries to do their best to capture the comments and the direction in the minutes, provide the minutes to the commission. They're always exhibits, and then make sure that it's in there as part of the packet. The concern with having one or more ARP member at the actual planning commission is that then that one person could effectively override the direction of the rest of the ARP. Once the ARP has made their recommendation and moved it on, then that is the record that exists. If there's a secondary dialogue between the commission and one member, now that member can go off on whatever tangent that they want to go to, and it's no longer reflective of the action of the commission.
You're just frustrating what I'm saying. How do we get their input? They have expertise and we don't. And you are not allowing us to see or hear their expertise. And when we have a major project like the Commons, and we didn't hear a thing from them on that, nothing. And yet, I'm the only one commenting on the architecture. That's not right. This is a major project in our city. It's going to impact all of us.
Aren't our meetings recorded? Yeah, the meetings are recorded, and they are posted online. So you can go back and you can actually just watch the meeting to see what was said and, in that recording.
I don't think that's enough.
And the meetings are also open to the public, so the planning commission can attend those meetings.
But when we have a major project, Michael, the point is to get the information out, and that Commons was pushed through fast because of state law, and I think their expertise would have been significant. I was very surprised to hear their comments about that. And I think the whole city would have been surprised to hear their comments. In fact, the applicant would have been surprised to hear their comments, because.
Oh, no, I think in fairness to applicants.
Well, I'm talking about that project.
But other projects, right? Like I generally usually have this red pen, and I mark up people's plans in the most collegial way possible as suggestions, because I can't help myself. I'm an architect. So, yes, that project was very different. We couldn't really do this. We couldn't see it more than once or twice.
Exactly.
But
still, we didn't get, and the public didn't get.
Well, my point was going to be that it would be very frustrating for an applicant to present before you for a vote on approval, and yet be also modifying the design on the fly with you all or any one of us. That would be hugely disruptive to their process.
But they chose to go through that.
What's that?
They chose to go through that short
No, but
process.
I'm saying, I don't think that your forum is where you can lop corners off buildings or change colors, or all of that has to happen before it ever sees you. And if it hasn't, then it means the ARP process is
So that would.
Well, it's in some way deficient, or the person isn't taking our recommendations.
Correct, they may not.
Yeah, when
So-
we can't
So that
control
would
that.
apply, say, to the Kia dealership, which has that issue.
Also, hold on,
But to the
I
Commons
don't
was
want to
a
get
short
too, I
project.
don't want to get too off topic of the agenda item. The agenda item tonight is simply to appoint ARP
Right.
members,
And
not
I'm
rewrite
asking-
a process or
asking-
revisit
right,
old
I'm asking-
projects.
Sorry, Michael, I'm asking, how do we get your input? Because the minutes and these brief things, and without listening to, your 2-hour meetings, how do we get your input?
I guess the easiest question is, how much of a detail do you want in the notes if we are not coming to attend? What level of detail would you want in the notes? And then maybe we could talk to staff to maybe get that concise.
A lot more than your conclusions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we did it with our new form. In the last few meetings, they've taken quite a bit of notes, and we kind of go back and forth to make sure our comments are reflected correctly in the writing, and they're typing it up on the spot usually. So I don't know, I haven't checked them, but usually the last few, but they've been pretty good with the minutes
Yes.
lately. So maybe that has improved, but that was after the meetings you're talking
Right,
about. We've gotten
right.
better, because we've
Okay.
asked staff, and they've responded beautifully with putting a nice form together that we can kind of check boxes, and then they
Okay.
go back and forth and go, okay, is this what you said? Is this correct? Is that not correct? So
That-
we get a
that-
little more concise so that
okay.
you have something to read.
That would
And
be
I'll
helpful.
follow up with staff to make sure that that's the kind of stuff that's continuing to being transmitted to the planning commission in the packet.
So now when we get a short, a project that's being rushed through, like the Commons expansion project, can you have them come to our meeting? Because they're not even, it's not even presented to them. There's like, it has to go through quickly.
The process is the process. We can't amend the process on the fly. We can't adjust it just because we want to adjust it. And we would be putting ourselves at significant legal risk to do that.
And how is that a legal risk to have one of them come and just comment?
I think what he's saying is the influence of possibly one or multiple members after a decision's been rendered on our end, or an opinion on a decision, could potentially sway your decision, which is where
But
that's
this,
the conflict.
so this was, I forgot what it's called, but, a quick approval project that we don't even have much
Correct.
control over. So you don't even get
We
it. But
did make suggestions at that meeting, and they took some of the commentary, I think, and enveloped it into the project a little bit, didn't they?
Right, they did
Yeah.
reduce the sides a little bit, so it's not
We did what
8
we
stories
could,
next to
yeah.
2 stories.
Again,
And
I don't
they-
want to keep
right.
going down the route of
But I just
an
want,
off-topic
I want to
subject.
get more input, that's all. 'Cause
Yeah, your
we're not-
feedback is accepted, and we'll review our process
Okay.
and make sure that those notes are better that come forward.
And I also appreciate your comments about the freeway, that's a scenic corridor, and it certainly doesn't look scenic. And I don't think control the wall or the paint on it, unfortunately, but we do control signage, and so, I appreciate, I understand.
Michael, we
your
don't
comments.
control signage, but we do in fact have to make sure that the signage approval is acceptable to the commission, and that there's a whole bunch of data that obviously comes to us. So, and we have to vote on it.
Right,
So no one of us or even 2 of us is in a position to say this is what we will do. It's going to have to be a planning commission decision all the way along the line anyway.
Right, so we do look at the signs that are facing the freeway especially. And we have approved or disapproved or made recommendations. But again, your input would be important, and I don't think that's going to you.
No, if I could just, this is off topic, excuse me, but if the city of LA and the state of California would allow the deconcreting of the LA River, right? That's a pretty major, to talk about headwaters, right? To allow a public good to be, to replace something which was just blight, right? Then there's some sort of discussions that could be had, even with Caltrans, a behemoth like Caltrans, to say, can we just make this better? Can we somehow take a little bit of ownership of this? It's right through our city. We don't like it. Can you help us? And that's not this level. That's a couple, 3, 4 levels up here. But if they can do it there, they could do it here, is my
Well,
point.
again, if you could come and maybe agendize this item so that staff could go to Caltrans. No, I was talking about the signs of like the, the commercial signs, not the highway, not the highway signs, but we do control the commercial signs.
What I mean is, even stepping back from that, the multifamily projects which will replace those office buildings are all going to have a freeway-facing facade. And that's all going to be important to be designed well so that it just doesn't look like 7, 8 stories of blank facade because there was no one telling them they couldn't do it like that. That's what I'm saying.
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Hopefully that gets on the agenda. Did you have anything to add?
Thank
No,
you.
I would just like to make a motion that we reappoint the 3 architectural review panel members who just came before us. Think they're doing a good job, and
I'll second
we
that motion.
appreciate.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
But I'd like to have a moment of discussion, and that is that I think we all have great respect for staff and the panelists, and they know professionals in this field, and it'd be great to include an encouragement that they make referrals to the staff and to us so that we can get additional seats filled, because having a full panel, I think, would be really valuable for the city of Calabasas, particularly in these very stressful times we're dealing with. So I would just add that it doesn't change the motion, because I'm certainly in favor of approving your recommendation. But I would just say that I think it would be helpful to have their recommendations for other folks who could help us, particularly since they know kind of where we're at, altogether.
Sure.
And in that respect, the code doesn't say you have to be an architect. So if you know people who are designers, even if they're an interior designer, they may have a design expertise, or urban planners or something, that they would all be helpful.
Yeah, I think we only require 1 architect on the panel, so that's satisfied for the moment. Okay. Any more discussion? And after the vote, before oral reports, we'll discuss the committee in order to find new applicants,
It's not
review
getting it
applications.
done, it's getting it done right. And
So,
I see problems with that.
do you want to be on the record with that?
Yes,
Okay.
I hear problems, and I think we're too focused on getting it done and not focused enough on getting it done right. And we should be provided with the information we need to make an informed decision.
I'm assuming that comment does not relate to approval of these 3
No, it
members,
does
right?
not.
Oh, okay. I just wanted
All right.
to clarify,
That's
okay.
one doing it right.
All right.
Moves.
Any further discussion before we vote? No? All in favor of appointing the 3 members, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against, please say nay. All right, unanimous approval.
And thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for serving.
Congratulations, and
Thank you.
thank you for fulfilling an important need.
Absolutely. So moving on to appointing a 2-member committee in order to review applications to hopefully fill the 2 vacant spots. I guess the first question is, do we have any volunteers?
I would certainly do it.
I would appreciate that. Yeah, I think you're the one, and
I would
think
volunteer unless
Dennis.
somebody else wants it.
Okay, no, that, perfect.
You want it?
Okay, there you go.
Do we need to vote
No?
to appoint a committee, or is this just an ad hoc?
Yes, if you could just vote.
Okay,
Yeah, you.
okay. So,
I'll make a motion that we appoint Michael Harrison and Mr. Mayor as members of this ad hoc committee.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Wendy seconds, thank you. Commissioner Fastberg. Any discussion on this, or can we vote? I think we can vote. Okay, all in favor of appointing?
Aye.
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 Aye. All against? Okay, unanimous approval again. It's been a night of unanimity, which is nice. Okie dokie, moving on to oral reports.
This is your honeymoon meeting.
Am I blushing? I feel like I'm blushing right now. Okay, director's report. Do you have anything for us?
Yes, thank you. So as we've already covered, we will open up the recruitment for ARP. Please let, if you know anyone that's interested, anyone in this room knows anyone that's interested, let them know. And check the website too. There may be other commissions available as well. You know, there's vacancies happen on a regular basis, and it's always good to get new and good people to help serve the community. For the Planning Commission, the next Planning Commission meeting is February 5th. As far as I know, that's still going to happen. We do have a public hearing item on that. We are going to bring forward the objective design standards, hopefully in the next couple of months. Staff has been working very diligently with our consultants on that, but they're taking their time to make sure that they get it right. They're incorporating a lot of landscape discussions into that as well. So I'm anticipating that the draft will be available in the next couple of months, and then we'll start the public hearing process.
Mr. Chair, may I ask Michael about?
Sure.
Would it be possible to agendize at least a report or progress report on the objective standards at that time? It doesn't need to be a big formal thing, but basically just kind of keeping us apprised of the process that you're going through.
I don't want to put an agenda item on the Planning Commission because the next step is just the public hearing process. So it will come back to the Planning Commission for a public hearing as a recommendation to the City Council for approval. But we will keep the commission apprised of when the draft is released for public review. It'll be posted on the website, and then we can let the commission know at that time, and you can start taking a look at the draft, as well as the ARP members.
So will they review it before us, or do they have to come to our meeting?
What we were planning on doing was scheduling another either joint meeting or a special meeting with the ARP first for their
Perfect.
final review of it, and then recommendation to Planning Commission, and
Okay.
then Planning Commission
Thank you.
immediately after.
No, I like those joint meetings.
Consolidate the meetings.
Thank you.
And then in March, it looks like we're going to have the housing element annual update. So the Planning Commission hasn't seen that in the past, but we are required to submit a update to HCD on the progress the city has made in complying and meeting its regional housing needs allocation. Every year, that annual update goes to our city council. They review it, and then it gets sent on to HCD. But because last year we also incorporated the general plan update process and brought that to the Planning Commission, we figured this is also just a good opportunity to bring that housing element annual progress report and inform the Planning Commission as well as to the progress that is being made towards meeting the city's RENA allocation. And then from there, we are looking at having to update our ADU ordinance. The city received a letter from HCD back in December identifying about 50 state laws that have passed since we last updated our ADU ordinance, and effectively challenged the city to document or demonstrate that we're either in compliance or we have to bring it into compliance. And we found at least a dozen or so state laws that we're going to have to address with our ADU ordinance. A lot of them are more technical based. They're not like we have to wholesale change things, but there were some maybe definition changes at the state level and other things. So there's going to be a lot of technical adjustments that we're going to have to make to our ADU ordinance, but it shouldn't change it too dramatically. And then other than that, I did want to mention the Craftsman's Corner annexation that is finally moving forward for the next step, which is the LA County Board of Supervisors to approve a tax exchange agreement between the city of Calabasas, Hidden Hills, and LA County. They have that on their agenda for February 10th. So hopefully it gets approved, and if it does, then it'll move forward to LAFCO and start the formal process. Well, we already have the application in, but it'll start the public hearing process with LAFCO for the annexation. That completes my report.
Out of curiosity, was HCD's letter a boilerplate standard letter to all the cities that have enacted their ADU ordinance, or have certain cities been singled out like us?
It looked very boilerplate, and the way that it came about, HCD reached out to us and said, when's the last time you updated your ADU ordinance? And ours was updated, I believe the last time was around 2020. So from there, they just said, all right, well, since 2020, here are all of the laws that have passed, and you may or may not be in compliance.
Let me ask a quick question. Are all of the models that we have actually developed here and made available to our public, are they not sufficient to be able to say we've been looking at this continuously and not just from 2020?
So that doesn't help us with our actual ADU ordinance. That's something that we committed to as part of getting our housing element adopted. The ADU ordinance is specific to, how big can an ADU be, what setbacks, how many are you allowed? And so that's just, we have those plans that are available for people in order to encourage the production of more ADUs and nice ADUs, because those plans were developed very nicely. But the ordinance is just separate, so that it didn't impact that.
When was the change that we made about how you can split off your ADU parcel? I think that was after 2020, wasn't it?
That was SB 9.
No, but we did it here, too.
Correct, yeah.
And so I think that was after 2020.
It could have, maybe it was 2021. I don't remember the exact date when we
Okay.
last adopted it, but
But there's more since. Okay.
there has been
Okay.
roughly 50 changes to state law since we last adopted our ADU ordinance.
The state keeping staff busy. Okay, anything else for Michael? Well,
I'll move to adjourn.
no reports? I think I have to make sure, no reports?
No report. I just want to say thank you to you all for allowing me to be your chair for the last 2.5 years. It has been an honor, and I look forward to the next period of time with our new chair.
Thank you for serving, and again, thank you for your trust. And I miss you already. I will, Bob, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, I will second the motion to adjourn. Any objections? Hearing none, commission meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.